Adios.
I know who you are. You're the attorney whose family they killed.
Not they.
My father.
Póntelos.
And now you hunt them.
Adios.
There's proof the cartel helped the terrorists get to the border.
The president's adding drug cartels to the list of terrorist organizations.
You can understand how that will expand our ability to combat them.
You want to see this thing through? I'm gonna have to get dirty.
Dirty is exactly why you're here.
You're gonna help us start a war.
With who?
Everyone. No rules this time.
Your objective is to start a war between the Mexican cartels, not with the Mexican government.
This girl was witness to the mission, correct?
Yes, sir.
We can't risk her falling into the wrong hands. Clean the scene.
They want me to cut ties. You gotta get rid of her.
I can't do that.
Don't put me in that situation.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
I'm gonna need a strike team, 2 Blackhawks, drones with attack capability.
Where's the coup?
Mexico.
You have no reason to trust me. But trust in me is how you're gonna survive.
Good luck.
Luck doesn't live on this side of the border.
Ba-ba-ba-ba. This is year 7. That's right, year 7. This is year 7 of Movie Month. For 30 days, I'll watch 30 movies and do 30 podcasts. It's day 28. Sicario. I told you I couldn't wait. I told you I was going to see this one. I had to. After I watched the first Sicario, I said to myself, I have to watch the second one. And I got a text. I got a reminder today on my phone. Cancel Stars. Signed up for Stars for the free week. I let it lapse. I paid for the whole month. Whatever. That's fine. Cancel Stars. Great. Let me go look to see where Sicario, the Day of the Soldado, is streaming. So I use this website called Just Watch. You type in a movie. It basically tells you everywhere it's streaming, if it's for rent to buy, or if it's streaming on like an HBO or Netflix or something like that. So I typed in Sicario, and it showed that it was streaming on Stars. I said, perfect. I already have it. I'm glad I didn't cancel it. So I just finished watching. I saw on some posters Sicario 2, but in America it's Sicario, the Day of the Soldado, which it means Day of the Soldier, which makes sense when you see how this movie ends. So this movie picks up this movie's a completely different story. It's basically the further adventures of Matt and Alejandro, and Benicio del Toro and Josh Brolin. There's no Emily Blunt; she's out of the picture. That was her story. Now they've done operatives or missions before her. We saw their mission with her. Then they do missions after her, and this one does start though with kind of its own like what leads into the story. Whereas last time we see Emily Blunt and she's FBI, and we see something that happens that then leads to her being thrust into the story. This time we don't follow along with anybody. We just kind of see something going on. There's people at the border trying to rush over from Mexico to the U.S., and Border Patrol shows up in helicopters, and they show up with cars, and they're like, everyone get down, get down, get down. Everyone kind of sits, they're going to get detained. But one guy runs off. He runs off, and he kneels down, and we see him like starting to say something, chant something. People get close, and then boom, he blows himself up. And the next day, they're kind of looking around, and they're like, check this out. They go over, and there are prayer blankets. I'm not sure what they're called. Prayer rugs, mats, but whatever they are, they're the area for I guess Muslim praying. And then we cut over to Kansas City, and it's like, what? Okay. And we see four guys go into like a Walmart type store, and they walk in. One guy just kind of stands there, and you realize you don't go in the store with them. You follow them to the store. You stay outside where you're safe, and they're in the store. And all of a sudden, boom, this guy blows himself up. Then another guy blows himself up. And then another person. People are running and scrambling trying to get out. And then they, these movies. This is again different director, but written by Taylor Sheridan again. So it's the same kind of look. Things are going to happen that are going to not just be easily digestible, and you're going to have to deal with it. So this woman grabs this girl, and she starts to leave, and then we see her slow down and stop, and we see her trying to inch more, and this look of terror on her face, and then it moves over, and we see one of the guys is praying. He's holding a button in his hand, and then boom, he explodes himself up and takes them with him. And they said there was at least 15 people killed, and they're trying to figure now. The big thing is, then we see Matthew Modine, who's in this movie. It's cool to see Matthew Modine. I like him. I feel like he was there. He was in stuff, and then all of a sudden, you didn't see him for years. Then out of nowhere, he came as like the kind of the evil doctor in Stranger Things. And if that's a resurgence, great. Because now he's the Secretary of Defense, and he kind of gives this speech, and he's like, you think your bombs terrorized us. All they did was energize us, and you will see what true terror is with the full force of the United States military, which doesn't actually happen. Instead, we see our old buddy Matt with his flip-flops. I like that they start on the flip-flops. You're like, oh, there he is. There's Josh Brolin, flip-flop man. And he's brought in, he's working, like, I guess he kind of answers to Catherine Keener. I don't know what her character's name is. I don't remember. I just watched it. And they had to answer to the Secretary of Defense, so they're brought in. Was he there at the time? I'm not even sure if he was there. There were generals there and blah, blah, blah. And they say to him, look, Matt, what do you think the number one thing that gets smuggled over the border is? And he's like, well, 20 years ago, I would have said cocaine. And now I would say people. They're cheaper. You don't have to cultivate them. You don't have to, and if it doesn't work the first time, you try again and you charge them again. So they're thinking that that now terrorists are being smuggled over the border with like people just trying to get to the United States. Terrorists are sneaking in with them, and that's how these four Kansas City guys. That's how these people from Kansas City got there, right? That's what we're led to believe. So then, forgive me for not remembering things. So then he's like, okay. So then they're like, well, I basically, then he goes to Somalia. I'm like, wait a second. I thought it was Mexico and they were coming from, like the Middle East. What are we doing in Somalia? So they break into the Somalia, I guess, pirates, organized crime thing, take out a bunch of guys, take one guy, bring him to a place, and Matt Graves, I forget his name, he interrogates him and basically says, okay, we know these people are coming in over the border. We know that they didn't take a plane. So that means they had to take a ship. And the only way these ships get through this area is if you allow them, because you run the shipping. So you need to tell us who you paid or who paid you to allow these boats to come through. And he's like, I don't know anything about this. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't pay for shipping. I don't, people send people over all the time. I have no idea. And so then he makes him watch. He says, look, there's your house, and I'm going to blow up your brother. And he calls his bluff, and then Josh Brolin gets on the phone. He's like, green light. Boom. He blows up this house with his brother in it, and the guy starts freaking out. And then he makes him watch it. Then he goes, look, there's a truck with all your other brothers. And I could keep doing this all day until I find the one brother who you can't live without. So he gets some information from him, which I get. Oh, must be where he gets the information about the cartel, right? So we cut over to, there's Benicio del Toro. Now, the last time we saw Benicio del Toro, he killed a family, and then he threatened Emily Blunt. And here he is, the hero of this movie. It's remarkable how, once again, you see this guy and you're like, oh, Benicio. But then you're like, oh, Benicio. And then you start rooting for him. And at the end, once again, you're like, wait, am I rooting for this guy anymore? What is going on here? So it's kind of a cool thing where Benicio is walking through a street. He looks up and sees a light. And then he takes this long, circuitous route, of what I don't know the word is, to basically sneak into his house. And along that route, like when he gets to this back door, there's a note that says, I'm in your living room. Please don't effing shoot me. And it's a Post-it note, and he knows. He goes in. It's Josh Brolin. And they have another mission. And they know that it's the cartel, so they need to bring him in. And the mission is this. So they can't officially go into Mexico and stop these cartels. I guess you can't do that. But they did mention that at one point that the president wants to, name these cartels as terrorists, so you can do this. But he hasn't done that yet. But didn't that happen in real life too? Didn't Trumpy do that? I feel like that came up. I don't know. That sounds familiar to me. So they want to start a war between the cartels and let them kind of wipe each other out, right? I don't remember why, but that's what they want to do. So they basically tell Josh Brolin, you got carte blanche. You can do whatever you need to do. He's like, it might get messy. He's like, that's what I'm here for. Dirty is what I do. And he's like, the way you want to start a war, he goes, if you want to get a king's attention, you take out the prince. So they have this idea, this plan. And we cut over to this school in Mexico. And there's a young woman there. Now, I knew that the third person, like I looked at the IMDb, and I saw it's Benicio, Josh Brolin, and this third person is this actor, Isabella Modell. I don't remember her last name. But she was in one of the Transformers movies. She was Dora in the Dora movie. And she's like a teenager, I think. I don't know if she's playing younger in this. But I knew she was the third person in this. I didn't know how it would play out. I didn't know the plot of this at all. So we see her at a school, and I still didn't make the connection. I'm like, wait, are they going to blow the school up? Because I wouldn't put anything past these two guys. They want to blow the school up. But instead, what they're going to do is this. So we see this girl at the school. She's in a fight with a girl, beats the crap out of her because this girl called her a narco slut or something like that. Basically called her a drug dealer child. And this kid beat the crap out of her. And then the headmaster of the school is like, I should expel you. She's like, oh, yeah, do it. And he just stares at her. She's like, that's what I thought. They all know that she is the daughter of a head of a cartel, and they can't do anything about it. This teacher is trying to discipline her, but he's like, his hands are tired and he's scared, and he's like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. So she goes to leave for school, and we see up in this hotel, we see the guys are, they got eyes in the sky. They're looking down with binoculars because the plan is to go in and get her. So we get like this little kidnapping exercise. And there's a lot of twists and turns on this one, I got to tell you. So we get a kidnapping where there's like 5 or 6 cars with these people in it, taking this girl. There's like so many. There's 2 cars taking this girl. I'm sorry. She's in the back car, and then all of a sudden, boom! Matt and Benicio and their crew. It's the same. The guy from Burn Notice, Jeffrey something or other. He's the guy with the big glasses. He was in the last one as well. They're all part of the team. They put masks on, and they go and they don't kill anybody on purpose this time. That one guy dies in a crash. I think they had to take one other guy out, but there were bodyguards there, and they kind of tied them up, and you said, you tell Mr. Reyes that this is what he gets, or this is, basically trying to, or a message from another family, basically trying to start a war. We actually saw them earlier in the day where Benicio went up and killed, this was actually a wild thing. So to start the war going, before they kidnap the girl, they start kind of doing violence to both sides. So they go to one side, and they pull up on this car that had like the family people and the lawyer in it, and they kill everybody. But I guess there must be some tie, because this guy was a lawyer, and Benicio was a lawyer, so they must have known each other, because even though Benicio was doing this, he goes up on this guy, shoots him in the leg twice, so he falls down, this big, fat lawyer guy, and he gets him. He throws his glasses down and says, put them on. The guy puts them on. Benicio takes his mask off so he could see his face. Now, they're trying to be undercover. He doesn't care. He takes his mask off so they can see his face, and the guy looks at him. He's like, I wanted you to see. I think he says something like that. And then with his handgun, he puts his finger in the trigger, and he flicks it back and forth so fast that it's like, da, 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 da. I'm going to kill you with so many bullets. It was like, whoa. I'm not a gun guy, but that was cool. Like, I've never shot a gun. I've never held a gun. I don't know nothing about it. But but I don't mind it in movies, and that was freaking cool. So they kidnap the girl, and they get away. Now they go, let's check the coverage, because they left a few people alive. They left 2 people alive and tied up to kind of send the message back. And now we see there's all these body bags there. So they rewind the tape a little bit, and they look, and the La Policia show up, and they kill the 2 guys. Now, I think it's all in. They must have been from another cartel. It's all the stuff. They must have been paid off from the other guy. Like, all this stuff is stuff they put into motion. So they kidnap the girl. She's freaking out. They put goggles on her. They put headphones on her. They put a bag on her so she cannot see anybody, hear anybody, know what's going on. They take her all the way back to Texas, put her in this house, and Benicio's sitting right next to her. She almost takes the bag off. He stops her. Then someone takes her into the bathroom, puts her in there. He goes, if you're thirsty, drink from the faucet. Locks the door. She's like, no, in there. Then they go out. There's like 2. That guy leaves, and then 2 other guys walk up. Benicio and this other guy walk to the front of the house, and they start seeing all these policemen come. They put on their DEA jackets, and then they say 1, and you see one of the guy silently counts 1, 2, 3, shoots glass. Then they raid the house. So what they did was they kidnapped this girl, staging that they were from another cartel. Then they turned right around and quote unquote rescued this girl, staging that they're actually from the other good guy. They're the good guys. And now Benicio's talking. Are you okay? Are you okay? You're safe with us. You're safe with us. And they want to get her back, so they bring her back. And she's like, "What is this? What's going on?" He's like, "We're trying to figure out what's going on. We want to get you back to Mexico. We're going to bring you back to the Mexican army. We're going to get you back." So they're trying to figure out what they're going to do to get her back to them, because I think that was it. I think that was going to be the plan. They started the war. They started all these things going back and forth. Now they can send the girl back. I don't quite know what the goal else would have been, But they finally, okay, we're going to start bringing you back. So they start rolling her back into town with like 6 trucks. And then it's like they're on a dirt road. And they're like, I don't like this. I don't like this. And they go, someone's coming at 6 o'clock, you bogey. They were being escorted by the police. And then the truck right in front of them, the guy turns his gun and starts firing at them to get them out, to break them out. So they're firing and shooting and shooting and firing and shooting. And the girl runs away because she doesn't know what the hell's going on. She doesn't know why there's soldiers here. What the hell's going on? So she runs away on her own. And Benicio's like, they're like, we need to go get her. Change of plans. We need to find her. And he's like, no, you go back. I'll find her. Benicio's like, I'll get her. I'll bring her back. I won't let you know. He's like, okay, here's a tracker. You can use this. Blink it when you get back to the United States. We'll get you there. Great. So now the government is pissed off because there's 25 dead Mexican policemen that's on the news. He's like, they were dirty policemen. They're trying to get to us. We're not even supposed to be there. We weren't, he's like, this was your plan. This is what you wanted me to do. And he's like, this is, for the terrorists. And then she's like, 3 of those guys were United States citizens. One of them was from New Jersey. He's like, it doesn't matter. Of course it matters. So they're arguing about this. They're like, this needs to just end. You need to. Then like Matthew Modine's like tells him, he's like, you need to do what she says. Whatever she says goes. And Catherine Keenan's like, it's too much of a risk. We have to clean it up. Just clean it off. Clean your operative. Clean everything. They want her to now kill the girl, kill Benicio, and just be done with it. And he's like, I can't do that. He goes, what? You can't find it. You can't find another grieving father. They're all over the place. You can find another one. He goes, you know how long it took me to make him? That line alone makes me want to read a book or see a movie of how he came to be. Because he was a lawyer whose family got killed, and how he became the friggin' assassin for the CIA. And said how long it took him to make him. I'm like, yes, I want that story. I would love that. And I have read that there is a 3rd one in development, but I'm sure it's just the further adventures of Matt and Alejandro back again. Alejandro does his work for the CIA when he's available, but other than that, he does other things. And I don't think some of that stuff's good. Or I don't know what's going to happen. I have no idea. But, so this girl runs off into the desert, and she comes across a truck who was one of the guys who ambushed the army men, and he grabs her and tries to pull her into the truck, and then his head, of course, explodes because there's Benicio right there. He's like, come on, let's go. He goes to save her. She's like, so she kind of figures out, like, who are you? Like, what are you doing here? What is this? And they drive off. Oh, wait, what happens? They drive as far as they can, and then maybe they broke down. I don't remember. But for some reason, they had to ditch their car, and they ended up cutting through this family's house that had a deaf. The guy was deaf, and Benicio's signing. And I'm like, I don't know sign language, but I'm thinking to myself, well, this is Mexico. They speak Spanish. You speak a different language. I assume sign language is different, right? It's not all the same, is it? I have no idea. Because I know ASL is American Sign Language. Is the alphabet the same? Because the alphabet in Spanish and the American, or Spanish and English, Spanish and English alphabet are basically the same. There's a little differences here and there. But is it the same with the sign language alphabet? I don't know. That's not important at all. Side note, we were watching my wedding video, and my wife's late uncle, he gets up, he's like, damn it, I want to give you a speech. And he doesn't have an accent, but he kind of has like a I don't know what kind of accent. And he gives this speech in Italian, and he goes, that's in Italian. In American, it means this. And it just makes, we were laughing about that all day. In American, it means this. Anyway, that was a side story. So he signs this guy, and these people actually take them in. And this guy recognizes her. He goes, that's the girl kidnapped from TV. He's like, yes, she is. And you want to keep her safe. You let us in. Because he had a gun. He's like, everything's fine. He signed to them, and she's like, how do you know sign language? He goes, my daughter was deaf. And before that, he says to the guy, how do you know sign language? He's like, my daughter. He goes, your daughter is deaf? He was deaf. And she's like, I'm sorry. So they're brought into the house, and they, I think he's digging a hole to dig stuff and just puts, just to get rid of a lot of his stuff, and or it's out there, and if he needs it, he can go back and get it. Sicario. So Benicio gets a phone call from Josh Brolin. He's like, "Yo, what's up, Josh?" He's like, "Yo, what's up, Ben? Listen, they want me to shut it down completely, like scrub everything." He's like, "Huh?" He goes, "Listen, he goes, if you leave the girl, or if you take the girl out, I forget what it was like. If you just let us get the girl, you can just go." He's like, "Yeah, I can't do that. I'm not doing that this time." I think it's because it reminded him of his daughter. That's my guess. He's like, "Yeah, I'm not doing that." And at this point, I'm like, "Oh my God, it's now Benicio versus Josh. Holy moly!" And it doesn't really get to that, but it almost does. And he's like, "I'm really sorry." He's like, "I understand. You do what you got to do." He's like, "All right, good luck to you." He's like, "Yep, okay, goodbye." So then he's digging all the stuff, and he's like, they need to leave. And she's like, "How did you know? How did you know sign language?" He goes, "My daughter." And she goes, "I know who you are. You're that lawyer who they killed. They killed your family." He goes, "Not they." And she looks at him, and he looks at her sternly, and she's like, "My father?" He's like, "Someone who worked for your father." And he goes, "Why?" I forget why this. And he goes, "Your father has many enemies." This might have been earlier. He goes, "Your father has many enemies, and you're one of them?" "Yes, I am." I was like, "Ooh." Yeah. So from there, they have this plan to use a coyote to cross over into the border. They got to get in. He's like, "I got to get it to the border. I got to get it to the border," because she's dead otherwise. And Josh is like, "Just let her be dead. Who cares?" But actually, Josh doesn't want her to talk, so he wants to because any information to get back to them is bad. So he's been called to kill them both, and he doesn't want to do that. And Benicio's like, "I ain't doing it." So too bad, my friends. So they go to use a coyote to get over the border. And he's like, "Listen, everyone's looking for you because you look like you." So they have her cut her hair. They said, "You're going to use a different name. We're going to use these lies. So you're going to say that I'm going to say that you're going to say that you paid me to get you to pretend to be your father." She's like, "Why are you doing that?" I didn't quite understand that exactly. He's like, "Because if our lies are different, now we have the same liar." That was I didn't quite understand that exactly. But I guess then if they screw up, at least the reason they screw up is because she's not really the dad. So I guess that would work. Now, while this is going on, we kind of have a B story that I haven't even mentioned yet. And it was reminiscent of the first movie where it was the police officer and the son who wanted to play soccer. And then eventually those paths crossed. And that kind of happened in this time. This time we got this kid who's with his family. He's got a younger sister. He's like, "All right, we're off to school." And he takes his kids. They go to the school bus. He's like, 14, 15. Maybe he's 16 because he drives. I don't know. He gets to the school bus with his siblings, talking to his friends, and then the school bus leaves, and they're all on it, and he doesn't get on it. And then he gets in a Camaro. Was it Camaro with his cousin? And his cousin is a troublemaker. His cousin works for the cartel, and he's like, they go to under this bridge, and they're pointing, "Look, this is where you could work. It's really easy. You just do stuff. You're just spawning. They make $20 a day." He goes, "You have a passport." "Oh, because they live in Texas. You're American. You have a passport. You can go back and forth all you want." He goes, "You could name your price." And they're smoking and they're drinking, and they're grooming this kid to be he's the soldier. To me, the day of the soldier is him. That's what they're grooming this kid to be. That's what they got him. Then at one point we see him starting to do some work. He's starting to collect. He's going to a mall, and he's still this like clean cut looking kid. And he goes to this mall to collect, and that must be on his route. So he has his schedule, he has his things he does. Then at one point, he gets introduced to the guy who does the coyote business, and they're like, "Come on, you got to help us." He actually drives a truck, helps people over the border. Then he gets driven back over the border by someone else who just happens to be a blonde mother from America. She's like, "Hey, whatever pays, I'll do." Like you realize they just get people all over the place. And this woman who just looks like a soccer mom is giving him a ride back to where he needs to get to. So they have a giant network of these things. So when Benicio, earlier when he's going to the mall, I hope those are fireworks because I just watched Sicario and now I'm hearing bang bang. Anyway, I think there's a party across the street with a lot of cars and no social distancing as far as I can tell. I don't get it, people. I don't get it. Too many cars over there. I don't like it. Anyway, so he's now fully ensconced in this family. He is at, but earlier in the movie, when I don't know why they were at the mall. I forget why they went to the mall, but they were cutting through and they bumped into this kid, and this kid like hits the thing and he's like, "What the hell?" And Benicio and him just lock eyes, and Benicio just gives this look of death at him, just trying to intimidate this kid. And what that actually does is that burns a memory in this kid's head of who Benicio is. So it actually worked out bad. And Josh Brolin's like, why don't you look where you're effing going? So that was earlier. Okay, that's what happened then. Now we fast forward, and at the place where they're going to coyote people over the border, Benicio comes in. He's got his hair pushed down. He's dressed with a cowboy hat. He's trying to just fit in with his daughter, or the girl he's pretending to be his daughter, quote unquote, even though there is a girl he's pretending to be his daughter. And they're like, "How much to get across the border?" It's $1,000. So he's like the kids go separately. He's like, "No, we have to go together. Here's my $1,000." And he's trying to sound like a very like meek man. And he gives them the $1,000, and then they're waiting around. And but here's the thing. This is what I forgot. Here's the thing. Before they went out, he's like, "If we get separated, here's a beacon. I need you to do." He puts a tracker in her shoe. Now, was that the same tracker that Josh Brolin gave him? Because by turning that on, he now knows that they can track her. And so why would he turn that on if he could track her, if they can track her, if he's trying to save her? Was he thinking to himself, if we do get separated, whatever happens, and they can take her out? I mean, I didn't quite get that. But I found it interesting. I wasn't quite sure what was going on there. But they're waiting to go onto the bus now, and the kid looks out the window and he sees him and he recognizes him right away. And he says to the guys, this is what's going on. So they get everybody on the bus, and then they pull the gun on the Benicio del Toro, everyone off the bus. They take their hat off the girl to see who she is. They recognize who she is. They recognize it's that girl. Oh my God, there's a little frog. Hi, little froggy. Oh. Then I got distracted. Then they grab Benicio. They separate her from Benicio. Now, I don't know if these guys work at the cartel at all. I don't know who they are or what family they work for, whatever. But this girl is dollar signs. You know what I mean? She's an investment. So if they could save her or do something with her, they can make some real bank. So they see that. And he explains who he is. He's like, tries to pass a story that he works for the cartel and that he's been there to bring her back. She's worth a lot of money. And if you let us go safely, that would be very smart for you and for your organization. And then they ask her, "Who is that man?" She goes, "I pretended to be his father." No, I paid him to pretend to be my father. And then they said, "He says he works for your father. Does he?" And she cracked and said, "Yes." Now, I thought that was actually good because I thought they would accept that. But instead, they beat the crap out of him and beat him, tie him up. Then they take him to a field. Now, all the while, the tracker's on. So Josh Brolin they're up. I don't know if he's there. I think he's there, yeah. They're up in a helicopter way up above, ready to strike at any time because they're watching because Benicio turned the tracker on. But did he turn the tracker on and thinking, look, if worse comes to worse, you do this? Like he trusted him? I don't know. I wasn't quite sure with that one. So they beat the crap out of Benicio. They tie his whole face up, and then they drag him out into this desert area, into this deserted area. All these cars are on. Everyone's around, and they drag him out there. And while the girl's watching, she's tied up. They hold him down, And then they say to this, they bring this young kid over. He's like, "You want to be a Sicario?" Which is a hitman. And they bring this young guy over. I thought they didn't bring the main kid over that we saw, or that spotted him and saw him, and we saw throughout this whole movie. They bring this other kid over, and he holds the gun up to Benicio's head, and he puts it down. He can't do it. He's like, "I can't do it." So the guy's like, "Okay, fine." He takes the gun, and he shoots the kid. And then he goes, like, "Whoa, yeah, that kid's dead." And then he goes up to the kid we do know, and he's like, "Do you want to do it?" And his cousin's like, "No, man, he's too young. He can do it." He's like, "He can do it. You're a good boy, right? You can do it. Huh? You could be Sicario." So they bring him up, and he goes right up to Benicio, and he holds the gun up, and I was like, "Oh my God, how in the world is he gonna get out of this?" Bam! Oh, he isn't. Shoots him right in the head. But what part of the head? Because then he just slumps over, and we're like, "Oh my God, are they really just getting rid of Benicio? Is he just dead?" Wow, that's just crazy. And then they take the girl and they start driving away, and then Josh Brolin's like, "We got to go get them. Let's go get them." So they chase them with the helicopters. They land in front of them, start taking everyone out. Josh Brolin walks by the helicopter that has the guy, and the guy, one of the guys is now holding the girl, like, "You're going to kill her? You got to get through. You're going to kill me." He's like holding her as a shield. He just walks by, boom, blows him away. I thought, "Oh my God, he just killed the girl?" But no, he was just so good with his gun, he killed that guy, walked up, they killed everyone, bum, 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 bum. But the kid we know, I think I don't know if he liked what he did. I'm not sure if he was still coming to terms with it, because he jumped out of the car and he wanted to wander off and be on his own, so he walked away, which was the best choice, I guess, for him, because he didn't get killed. Now, he didn't get killed, so, and neither did the girl. Josh Brolin then goes to the car, pulls the girl up, and brings it back to the helicopter, and the dude in the glass is like, "What are you doing? This is screwing us. This is not part of the plan." He goes, F it all. F the plan. He goes, "We'll put her in witness protection. I don't care." And they take off. Then we see back in the empty field, there's the dead kid, and we see dead Benicio del Toro, except he's not dead, because he didn't get shot in the head. He got shot in the face. The bullet went in one cheek and out the other, and he starts shaking and freaking out, and he's coming back to life, and he reaches in and to the kid's pocket, pulls out a knife, cuts himself free, pulls out his face, goes up and looks out over, I guess he walks for a while, because these cars weren't right there. So he walks for a little while to the road, finds these cars, sees all the dead bodies, doesn't see the girl, sees all the dead bodies, gets in the car and starts driving, and then he kind of passes out. Then and he's still got it, and he keeps driving, and he's just determined to, I guess, get past the border, get home. I don't know, because we see him kind of drive away. Then we see the helicopter, and Josh Brolin just has this look on his face like, what was the point of this? This was all, this giant cluster F. All these people are dead, and they pulled it away from me. Like, he just seemed pissed that the whole thing went foobar. And then we see the helicopter go away, and I thought, wow, that's a bold ending. They're just going to end this. And then it shows 1 year later. I'm like, wait a second, the kid's still alive, and there's our kid. Only this time he's got the shirt buttoned differently. He's got all these tattoos, his hair slicked back, his earrings. He is completely in now with whatever he's doing. He's going back to the same place to collect. Well, obviously they know that. They know this routine, or someone's been watching his routine, because he opens the door to collect, and there's Benicio del Toro standing there. He's looking pretty good. He healed up pretty good. We see scars on his cheek, and the kid just freaks out. He's like, "Come in, close the door." And he looks at him, he goes, "So, you want to be Sicario?" And the kid just stares at him. He's like, "All right, we have much to discuss about your future." And then he closes the door. I'm like, what? So wait, is Benicio going to train this kid to be a hitman? The kid who tried to kill him? Who almost killed him? Is Benicio infiltrating again? I don't know what's going on. I never can get quite a hold on Alejandro. But he is the Sicario, and now he's going to train a new Sicario. So, oh my God. I don't know. I don't know if this was as good as the first one. I don't know. I loved it, though. Thoroughly enjoyed it. And I immediately looked up and said, Sicario 3? And I was like, yes, there's one in development. Bingo. You know, I the other day I watched Taken, and I was like, I'll watch Taken 2, but I don't care. I watched Sicario. I was like, I got to watch Sicario 2. And now I want Sicario 3. I want Sicario like I want friggin' John Wick. Give me Sicario every year where they're just further adventures and further missions and further twists and turns. Give it to me, Taylor Sheridan. Give it to me. Yeah, that's it. Very good movie. Very good acting. Josh Brolin is more jacked in this one. I looked at one part, I was like, God damn it, Josh Brolin is a man. I don't know what like, you know, I mean, I am like technically by definition a man, but like Josh Brolin is like, like if, you know, if you thought like man comes to town or like, I don't know, he just looks like the dude was jacked in this one. And I think it's also because this might have been around the time of Deadpool 2 when he was Cable and he was jacked in that movie. He didn't really have to be jacked for the Avengers, I think, because it's more all green screen, right? Or, you know, digital. One of his greatest acting roles ever is Thanos, right, Chris? Anyway, yeah, that's it, my friends. I think I've covered just about everything in this movie. Very enjoyable. And I'm really glad I watched it. I'm really glad I didn't cancel Stars yesterday. But goodbye, Stars. It was a good month having you. I really, really enjoyed it. I appreciated you gave me, I believe, 4 good movies. Wait a minute. Once Upon a Time, Zombieland, Brightburn, Sicario 2. I feel like there was one more. I never got to I was going to watch the Mr. Rogers movie. I never got to it. It's not on the list. Maybe next year. I have 2 days left after this. 2 days left, and I already know exactly what my movies are. There's no surprises coming. For you, there might be. For me, not so much. It's set. It's over. And just like this podcast is over. So I want to thank you guys so much for listening, and thank you for subscribing. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Geek Mentality, all one word. The podcast is Geek Mentality, 2 words. And you can find it everywhere podcasts are available, and 11 different places where podcasts aren't. But you can't find those unless... I already did the treasure map one, didn't I? I don't know. Sometimes I just run out of ideas. So, you can find us on Facebook at Fans Not Experts. The website is fansnotexperts.com. And if you've ever used Letterboxd, it's Letterboxd, but it's XD. There's no E. And it's kind of just like a social tracking for movies. So you can track the movies you watch. I use TV Time for TV shows. I like to say, oh, I watched this episode, boom, boom, boom. And I give a little, it's almost like a little checkbox to know what I have and what I need to watch. And Letterboxd is what I use for Movie Month. So I make a list every year for every movie I've done. So if you're not into podcasts, what are you doing listening to this? But if you're into just seeing movies and lists, and you can follow each other, you can see every movie I've ever done listed there. Letterboxd, Geek Mentality is the username there. So check me out there. And that is it, my friends. I'm going to go take my dog for a walk because the rain seems to be over. It seems to be a nice evening. And then back to work tomorrow. Back to work tomorrow. I have a vacation day on Tuesday, though, which I'm going to need for Tuesday's movie, the last movie of the year. But we're not there yet. We still have tomorrow. So until then, my friends, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for subscribing. I have to say it one more time. Sicario! Here is my theme song. This is my podcast. I made it. Geek Mentality's what I named it. And I think you should listen and subscribe. 'Cause I'm kinda funny and awesome. I think that I'm worth your time. And I'm kinda handsome. My mom says, please listen and please subscribe. At least listen to this episode.
Fans Not Experts.